Tomorrow is the Dawn coming out, that Sundial DLC we've all been looking for, and we're going to talk about Solar Subclass today with the Titan. I did a test between Heart of Inmost Light and Hallowfire Heart to see which one had the better run and gun properties, and Hallowfire just took the cake. Those recharge rates are ridiculous, and I noticed in Master and harder activities, I didn't do very many melees or pop very many barricades to really benefit the Heart of Inmost Light as much as I would have liked to, but Hallowfire Heart, if you've never heard of this or if you're new to Destiny, all you gotta do is just do nothing, basically. If you have your supercharge, your recharge rates are even faster. It only benefits your grenade and your melee ability, but either way, we're gonna talk about all these recharge rates today and figure out what is the perfect balanced number to keep you running and gunning to where you're not wasting anything, where you can afford to put things where they need to go. Let's start it off with some subclasses. So if you didn't hear, the Burning Maul is getting a buff for the duration of it, lasting around 20 seconds, which is ridiculous. So you're about to be seeing a lot of tornado mode Titans and strikes and nightfalls and everywhere in the solar system, basically. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I'm more of a bottom tree user myself. I love the sunspots, I love healing myself, and I love those recharge rates, but there is something very satisfying about slinging around this sledgehammer like a maniac, and with that duration buff, that's probably going to make this really awesome, especially with the Roaring Flames to maximize your DPS output. Right now, it seems like it's around between 50 to 60% when you're at a ×3, and then you also have the Throwing Hammer, which basically means you throw the hammer, and when you get it, it resets, and it also heals you. So we're not going to build out too much for the melee, but I'm not going to skip on it because I want to make this build a universal solar subclass build, but it is fun to throw these hammers and bounce them off targets and then get your health back at the same time. Moving on to the bottom tree, solar ability kills also restore your health. You have Mortar Blast. When you do a melee, it causes an explosion, setting nearby enemies on fire, and then when you kill them, you also get Sun Warrior, passing through those sunspots, recharge your grenade and your melee ability, but it doesn't affect your barricade ability, but we're going to talk more about that with that new change that's happening based on your mobility value. But you can top off some grenades really fast with these sunspots, and also get that bonus damage on top of that, which is around kill clip damage. So if you just pass through a sunspot, and you get that Sun Warrior on your screen, you can see right here it does like 1167 to crit plus the explosive and the white number, and then you'll see I do a melee right here to get the sunspot, and then it goes up around 30 to 35%, going up to 1400 for those yellow numbers, and then around 911 for the explosive round number, so it's not that great of a buff. The best thing about that subclass is basically the recharge rate that you get off of the sunspots. And then to top it off, you have Endless Siege. Hammers create a sunspot on impact. While you stand in those sunspots, you're able to throw more hammers and throw them faster so you can get more hammers out. So every time you throw a hammer, it creates that sunspot, so you get ability recharge when you get outside of your super. You're ready to go again, getting those recharge rates coming back, and you get a ton of armor because of this, because every time you touch a sunspot, you start getting your health regened again. Watch as this ogre starts draining my health, starts going down, but then it goes right back up because I touched that sunspot and able to survive. Now let's move on to the build that I currently have put together, the stat setup that I have, and I'll go over the build that I have, but it is going to change because of all the changes that are happening in the Dawn. But right now I'm in a 7 mobility, 6+ traction, 7 recovery, and then I have 7 discipline, which we're going to talk about in a second. Then I also have a 5 melee, which is great for the top tree, middle tree, or the bottom tree. Melee is not the main focus for majority of combat, but it's there, and I'm not going to sleep on it because it does come in handy whenever I need it. Keep in mind, all of this is going to be changing in the Dawn with the new artifact buff, so right now just pay attention to mainly the stats, and we're going to talk about Enhanced Bomber and Impact Induction here in just a second. But first, let's go over these recharge rates for the grenade and the melee. So we are getting some kind of artifact buff, basically, that gives you grenade and melee recharge. It looks like Ballistic Combo and Breach Refractor kind of combined into one, and that's the reason that I landed at tier 7. You see it's at 32 seconds, and then tier 10 without your super is 25 seconds. It seemed like that was the perfect amount of balance based on the artifact buffs, and just based on the fact that I need melee recharge as well. So if I take my discipline up anymore, I have to lower my melee ability because they're both balanced as high as they can go to kind of like bounce off of each other. And you'll see when I have my super charge, the tier 7 is at 15.8 seconds versus the 10 that's 13.8. So it's a 2-second difference basically, pretty much, which is not that bad. But the regular recharge going from 32 to 25, it's a 7-second difference, which is great balance for run and gun combat. By having my high mobility, it's going to get my barricade back really fast, and I'm also going to be trying to use Enhanced Bomber with this, which is going to give me extra time off my grenade. So 7 was just that perfect sweet spot. Now let's talk about these sunspots with and without a super. So if you're in a sunspot and you don't have a super, the tier 7 is a 14.1, tier 5 being a 15.2, and then a tier 10 being a 12.3. So it's like a 2-second difference from 7 to 10. So I'd rather take that to still build up my melee ability. And then if I do have a super, I'm at 9.8 seconds, which is only a 0.8 seconds versus tier 10. So worst case scenario, I'm only a 7-second difference away from tier 10, but building out for tier 8 and 9 with Hallowfire Heart, it just seems like I'm wasting my ability to raise my melee energy back up by saving like 1 or 2 seconds. The furthest away is 7 seconds at tier 10, where I don't have a super and no sunspot or anything like that, so it's still decent recharge rates. And in the rhythm of this build is always going to be ready for a grenade in every episode or every encounter that I have in pretty much all activities that I've been playing with it. I also didn't show the recharge rates going from tier 4 and lower, because I feel like if you're wearing Hallowfire Heart and you're not at least at a 5, I just feel like you're not really using that exotic to its full potential. So I only showed 5 and higher. I didn't even test 4 and lower. I just felt like it was kind of a waste of my time. But like I said, tier 7 and then tier 5 melee is a perfect balance to make it feel like you're actually wearing an exotic. Now let's take a look at Enhanced Bomber and Enhanced Impact Induction at a tier 7 to see what kind of recharge rates we get with our grenade now. So tier 7, no super, Enhanced Impact Induction with Enhanced Bomber is 17 seconds. So you don't get any diminishing returns on this until you get your super charged. Then you get a little bit of a diminishing return, but it's not really that much. You can still summon some pretty fast grenades, so if you ever do get in a situation where you need a grenade, your hammer also counts towards Enhanced Impact Induction also. So hit somebody with that, get some recharge off your grenade, and you can get 10.2 seconds. It's 15.8 stock. And then if you use Enhanced Impact Induction without Enhanced Bomber, you'll see your grenade come back around 13.1 seconds. So it looks like Enhanced Bomber and Enhanced Impact Induction give you around the same time off. So it's around 2 seconds off with this, almost 3, 13.1, 15.8, it's almost 3 seconds. So if you have to save space on your artifact for other things, you can at least use Enhanced Impact Induction or regular Impact Induction, add 1.5 seconds on top of the times that you saw there. But you'll always find situations where you can use Enhanced Bomber and Impact Induction, such as right here. If I need to summon in a grenade real quick to maybe proc Hive Armaments if you're fighting a lot of Hive, which is still going to be a relevant build, so don't sleep on that Menagerie armor. You can still farm that out doing regular mode and get all the mods that you need when you're facing Hive. It's the easiest mods to get, because if you're trying to get Fallen Armaments or any other type of armaments, you pretty much have to do a raid to do it. But by doing the Hive Armaments and stuff, all you got to do is regular Menagerie, and you have a chance of that stuff to drop. However, I have heard people saying they're getting a better chance at Heroic Menagerie versus regular, but I've only done regular and I have every mod except for Hive Barrier, so you still have a great shot at getting all those mods that you're going to need. But like I said, there's still a ton of new perks and mods coming out that you may not even want to look at these mods ever again, but I do like getting a ton of heavy ammo when I'm facing Hive, and there's tons of Hive in almost every Nightfall and Nightmare that you do, so it's still going to have some relevancy in the game, even though there are going to be new buffs and stuff coming out. You can also farm out the Last Wish chest too. You just put the code in at the Last Wish raid. It's really easy to do. You have a chance to get that on each character. There is a video I have that tells you how to get all those mods, and also Hive Armaments and Hive mods work against Taken Hive on top of that. So if you wear Taken Armaments and Hive Armaments, you can actually get double the heavy drop by having those on. And even though this isn't confirmed yet, that new IO Strike could be a new ordeal in the Dawn DLC. That hasn't been confirmed or anything, but I have a feeling that's probably what they were saving it for. But it has a ton of Taken in there, so having all those Hive mods is going to be really beneficial against that. But have your Sleepless Rocket ready too, because it seems like in every video I'm always using Sleepless, because in my opinion, as I've said it a million times, the greatest heavy weapon in the game, whether you're ball smelting or ad clearing, you just save so much time stomping all over every ad, especially when you have those armaments to go with it, and these hella recharge rates with this solar subclass with the Hallowfire Heart, which I think is going to be one of the most OP classes coming in the Dawn. You'll notice in almost every encounter that I have in this strike, which is the only footage that I recorded with it, just because I just happen to be playing this, trying to farm it out, I always have a grenade whenever I need a grenade, because the recharge rate is just so freaking magnificent on this exotic, and I never take it off when I wear Solar Subclass. Unless I'm using it for Boss Melt, then I might go Peregrine Greaves and stuff like that. But majority of the time, my job is an ad clear role, and this is an ad clear exotic. That's what it's made for. It's made to get your recharge rate so you can keep your whole fire team safe, to keep stomping ads. The trick to Hallowfire is don't pop your super until you're about to get melted, because you get hella armor by having that on, and when you kill ads you heal yourself. But a lot of times you don't want to pop it because you want to keep getting benefit from those recharge rates by having your super charged, and then wait for that moment of when your health is starting to get drained, then pop it, and then start the process all over again to charge your super back. But that's the idea behind this super, is you keep pushing over and over with these incredible recharge rates until you get to that point to where you're about to die, and then you pop it, and then you start charging your super all the way back over again with all those grenades. You could even use Enhanced Ashes with this if you wanted to, but there is one thing for certain. The Hallowfire Heart, if you're the ad clear person on your team, it's going to throw up some ridiculous kill count numbers, and one of the highest killing exotics you can have on as a Titan when you're wearing Solar Subclass. But that is it for this build, Guardian. Balance it out at that tier 7 with that tier 5 melee if you have a good rolled Hallowfire Heart, but make sure you get that mobility value up because that should be benefiting your class ability, getting your barricade back. And if my calculations are correct, a tier 7 should put you at around a 22-second barricade, maybe faster than that, but either way, we'll find out more tomorrow. I'm ready to see how this build wrecks tomorrow. I want to see what the sundial is all about. Hit subscribe if you want more future content. You can also join our B Squad. Click that join button or support the channel at paypal.me/Ristopoulos or teespring.com/Ristopoulos. Again, I appreciate you Guardians for watching. I will see you all tomorrow during the live stream of the Dawn, and I'll also be making a revamped version of this once I get the artifact perks unlocked and all that jazz. So like I said, click that subscribe button, click the bell, share this video with your friends, and get ready for tomorrow because it's going to be on. But until then, I'll see you all on the next video next time.
In space.